My name is Danny, and I'm the head of development and creative director on World of Warships franchise. And basically today, what we're showing for the first time is our progress on World of Warships Legends. And World of Warships Legends is the warships experience that we're bringing to consoles. That's Xbox and PlayStation. So let's talk a little bit about the game and mainly what are the differences, how different this game would be compared to the original. This game will be we're going to have quite a lot of differences compared to the older brother, World of Warships PC. First thing first, basically one of the big things that we're doing, we're completely redoing the engine on which we're making this game. So we really want to reach a new level of visual fidelity that we want to have for our players to basically to bring really good experience of naval warfare to the living room. And it's still early. We're kind of in a closed alpha stage, but already at this point I believe that the quality of the picture looks quite nice and will only be improved. We're going to support all the 4Ks and HDRs of this world with further improvements of lighting, materials and stuff. The other big thing that we're very passionate about is to make sure that all the kind of UI adaptation that we're doing feels very native to console players. So the last thing we want to do is to slap on a cursor on a console game, which makes absolutely no sense, but we know that sometimes this happens, and this is not something that we want to do. We take this adaptation very seriously. We also not only change the kind of how the UI looks, we also pretty often would change the system, the core design principle that underlines under this UI. For example, if you're familiar with the World of Warships, World of Tanks progression systems, you know that every vehicle has some sort of a tree of modules with arrows going up and down, stuff like that. For this title, what we're doing, we're just replacing this tree system with a more linear system, so it looks more like a progress bar, which is basically people who played FIFAs and Forzas are more familiar with this metaphor of the progress bar, and kind of making it more accessible and easier to understand. But at the same time, we want to keep the kind of the complexity, not the complexity, but all the depth that the original title has in terms of how you can customize and load all your ships. So I believe we could hop into battle really quick. And while the map loads, I can update you a little bit on the development stage where we're at. We're doing a rather unconventional thing. So we're doing a full-fledged closed alpha on console. Not a lot of people, not a lot of companies do that. But we believe that for a wargaming title, it is very important to have a very tight connection with the community. So basically since the first time we had the basics of the game implemented, we decided that we want to allow some core players in so they can basically become a part of the development team by providing feedback and commenting on stuff. And we believe this is very important if we want to deliver something good. It's really important to talk and to work with your community from as early as you can start doing this, the better. So I'm speaking about, once again, let's look at how this looks. Once again, this is not the representation of the final quality. This is still work in progress, but we're really committed to bring the quality of the picture to even further, improve it even further. Speaking about gameplay changes, there are also a lot of them that we're going to bring. It's worth mentioning that what really makes World of Warships unique, there is no game like it on console, and more importantly, I believe there are hardly many games on PC as well that look like a action game, but in reality, it's more of a strategy game, right? It's more about planning, it's more about how you understand what's going on, how you can predict what's going to happen when you basically make a decision and what happens in a minute or two. After that, that's where the skill comes from. But there is also a lot of dependencies or a lot of things that come with this kind of unique thing. Is that it requires you to read a lot of information from the screen. And when you're thinking about, say, I think I can make it slightly quieter so it doesn't interrupt. Yeah. So, and the way you read information from a TV while sitting on the couch, right, is very different compared to how you read the information from your monitor. And this is where we need to kind of, the thing that we wanted to do from the very beginning, kind of our mantra, was that what we want to do for Legends is we want it to be a slightly faster, slightly more action-packed, easier to understand, easier to comprehend, but still authentic and very strategic version of original World of Warships. And this is what we're aiming for. So basically, original, authentic Warships experience that is unique, but adopted very heavily for console audience and console players. Basically another big challenge, torpedoes. Another big challenge that we've been working on a lot is making sure that the controls feel right. When you switch from keyboard and mouse to controller, basically the question is, how do you give more control to players with fewer controls? And this is where the kind of a lot of black magic comes to help. Black magic that is happening behind the scenes. Players don't really see it, but there are many elements that are helping them to be kind of successful and enjoy the game. For example, it's like some simple things, but when I'm trying to zoom in, I'm just pressing the trigger. The system somewhat automatically positions me somewhere around the place where I want to aim. So I can compensate those micro movements that I can afford to do with the mouse, but it's not affordable. While playing with the controller. There are many other things like this that basically we're not dumbing the game down in any way. What we want to do to make it really accessible for as many players as possible, while still, once again, keeping the depth and strategy. So, okay, let's finish this guy off. He's going to die from the torpedoes. There we go. So another very interesting and cool thing that we want to add to the game is add a layer of character. So we want to introduce more characters in the game that players will like and basically have more kind of connection with. And here I'm talking about the rethinking of the commander system that we have in the game. What we want to do on PC, the commander system is more like an additional layer of progression and upgrades of your ship. What we want to do here, we want to implement how we call them the hero commanders. This is basically every commander will be unique with the unique skill sets. He will have his name, his BO, his portrait, and players will be hunting them down, trying to collect them. So it's also a collection layer added to the game. And basically, if you're like, for example, say German cruisers or American battleships are your favorite ships, you want to look for the specific commander that creates the best synergy with the American ships or American battleships. and basically find him. You look at his skills and you go like, yes, you have potential. I'm going to level you up. And basically, yes, that's it. This is World of Warships Legends. A quick sneak peek. We're currently, as I said, we're currently in alpha. We're planning to have our majority of our core hardcore testing done this year, and we're aiming to release this game next year.